Hello, hello. Welcome to Ollie's MCAT podcast. I'm your host, Ollie. I'm a pre medical student currently on my gap year, and I'm studying for my MCAT. I created this podcast as an opportunity for others to learn alongside with me. Think of me as your study buddy, someone who you can listen to while brushing up on key concepts. Let's face it, not everybody enjoys sitting down on a textbook for 6 hours on end. I'll be honest, I don't either. But that's where this podcast comes in. This isn't meant to replace your normal studying. You definitely do have to. The MCAT is very long, very tedious. You should be doing the content review on your own. But this can supplement it in a way that makes it easy to digest. Whether you're driving, working out, on a quick coffee break, this podcast has been designed to help you passively learn and absorb information. I don't want to stop here. Once I'm in medical school, I want to help medical students as well. I want to eventually create passive content for step one and step two and beyond. So, if you're ready to dive in, let's get started. Today I'm covering chapter one of Kaplan's biology review, the cell. From cell theory to mitosis, meiosis, this chapter sets the stage for what's to come. Grab your favorite snack, or if you're multitasking, stay safe, stay warm, and let's get together and do this. All right, let's kick things off with the cell theory. This is foundational to biology, and there are four key tenets you should know. Number one, all living things are composed of cells. Number two, the cell is the basic functional unit of life. Number three, all cells arise from pre existing cells. And four, cells carry genetic information in the form of DNA, which is passed from parent to daughter cells. Kaplan highlights how the MCAT might challenge this theory with questions about viruses. For example, a virus can't reproduce independently, so they're not considered a living thing by cell theory. It will come up on your exam. It's very classic. Now let's dive into organelles. Kaplan categorizes them by the following. The nucleus houses DNA, manages transcription. The mitochondria, every student's favorite quote, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces ATP. Remember, key thing on the MCAT, they they carry maternal DNA. It's a very high yield fact. Lysosomes, the recycling center, breaking down waste. Endoplasmic reticulum, the rough ER synthesizes proteins while the smooth ER handles lipids and detoxification. The Golgi apparatus modifies and ships these proteins. Kaplan has a key insight. Form follows function. So cells like sperm, packed with mitochondria, are energy powerhouses. It makes sense, right? And red blood cells, they lack organelles to maximize oxygen transport. So if something has a specific form, it will have a function that follows it. Now that we've covered organelles, let's compare the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So for prokaryotic cells, there are three things to take away. One, they're simple, small, with no membrane-bound organelles, no nucleus. Their DNA is a single circular chromosome, and they reproduce through binary fission. It's a quick form of asexual reproduction. For the eukaryotic cells, they're larger, more complex, and they have membrane-bound organelles with a true nucleus. They can reproduce via mitosis and meiosis. Also, Kaplan stresses bacterial genetics. It's high yield. You gotta know it. I'm not gonna go too in depth about it. I'm just gonna mention it. Prokaryotes can exchange genetic material through transformation, transduction, and conjugation. The MCAT loves throwing these in experimental passages, so be ready. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. Mitosis and somatic cell division. Mitosis is a process of somatic cell division, creating two identical daughter cells. And the stages you have to know, the little mnemonic is called PMAT. The first phase is called prophase. It's when the chromosomes condense and the nuclear envelope dissolves. The second phase is metaphase, where chromosomes align in the middle of the cell along the metaphase plate. 3. Anaphase. It's when the sister chromatids are pulled apart. 4. Telophase and cytokinesis. The nuclear membrane forms and the cell divides. Kaplan highlights the role of cell cycle regulation. So you'll have proteins like P53 that ensures proper division, and also if it's not proper, mutations in these proteins can lead to cancer. So we will tie this back into biochemistry for a deeper understanding. Stay tuned for that. We're on to our next section, meiosis and gamete formation. This is essential for sexual reproduction. This is how all of us are existing right now. So, we'll start with meiosis 1. The key takeaway here is homologous chromosomes separate. During prophase 1, you'll have the crossing over occurring, which creates genetic diversity. And at the end of meiosis 1, you'll have 2 haploid cells being formed. Similarly to mitosis is meiosis 2, which separates the sister chromatids. And the result, you'll have 4 unique haploid cells, which becomes your gametes, your sperm and eggs. So the key takeaway to this section and what was previously mentioned is that mitosis creates 2 identical cells, while meiosis creates 4 genetically unique gametes. Kaplan connects meiosis to genetic inheritance and evolution, so keep an eye out for those type of related questions. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Ollie's MCAT podcast. I hope this breakdown of Chapter 1 of Kaplan's Biology Review gave you a clear understanding of cell biology, mitosis, and meiosis. These are high-yield topics on the MCAT, so make sure to review them regularly. Supplement this with Ankis as well. If you're enjoying this episode, please subscribe, share it with your fellow pre-meds, and check it out on Spotify as well. It is available. So it's same name, Ollie's MCAT podcast. So in the next episode, we're going to target more of Kaplan biology and look out for biochemistry as well, because these two go hand in hand on the MCAT. Well, thank you for listening, and let's crush this MCAT together. Stay safe, stay happy, have a good one.